Every year, we see prospects in the NBA Combine get boosts or hits to their draft stock due to their performance. So in this video, we're going to look at the winners and losers of the 2019 NBA Draft Combine. So if you guys like my content, make sure you like it, subscribe. The support lately has been absolutely insane on the last couple videos. Let's try to go insane on the like button and get 6,000 likes on today's video, and let's hop right into it. Now, the NBA Combine doesn't give us all our desired information on the top prospects, such as Zion Williamson's official vertical, as everything is optional, but some notable non-attendees would be Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett, Ja Morant, the projected top 3 picks in this draft, DeAndre Hunter, and Darius Garland. But first, we're going to look at some winners from the NBA Combine, and we're going to start it off with Tacko Fall. Tacko Fall was one of the most interesting prospects going into this 2019 NBA draft, as he measured in at a staggering 7'7", which is taller than his listed 7'6". We don't usually see players come in taller than expected, especially when it's someone of this absurd height. This, combined with a record-breaking 10 feet 2 inch standing reach, and also record-breaking 8 feet 2 inch wingspan, put Tacko Fall back on the map. Before the Combine, he wasn't anywhere to be seen on mock drafts, and obviously we expected some crazy measurements to come out of Tacko Fall, but having them on paper really gets you excited about his potential, and is now popped in the second round on several mocks. If Tacko can manage to touch the NBA hardwood, he'd be tied for the tallest player in NBA history with Manute Bol and George Merson. We've only seen 2 players that were 7'6", and that was Yao Ming and Shawn Bradley. Obviously, this is a small sample size, but puts him in pretty good company. Manute Bol, as a rookie, managed to average 5 blocks a game. George Merson averaged 15, 10, and 2.3 blocks a game in 1996. Shawn Bradley managed a 12-year career where he averaged 2.5 blocks. And the best of the Giants, Hall of Famer Yao Ming, averaged 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks over his 9-year career. So Tacko Fall hasn't had a lot of production at UCF, as he's only averaged 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 2.4 blocks. But with his potential, I think we'll definitely see a team take a risk on him in the mid-second round. Next, we got a foreign prospect, a 6'11" power forward in Luka Samanic. He averaged 17 points per game in the U18 European Championships this past summer. He also had a low volume but high efficiency season in Slovenia. At one point early on in the draft process a couple years ago, he was actually projected to be a lottery selection by ESPN, but slowly has fallen down the board. But going into this Combine, he really helped himself out. He measured in at a 6'11" wingspan, but had the 3rd highest max vertical out of all forwards. In the 5-on-5, he really impressed. Managed to have 13 points on 5 for 7 shooting, where he showed his versatility on defense, his ball handling capabilities, and his smooth shooting stroke. Because of his solid performance on day 1, he ended up skipping the second day of scrimmages, similar to players in the past such as Kyle Kuzma 2 years ago and Kevin Huerter last year. We don't have a lot to go off for Samanic, but his potential as a stretch big, growth as a player over the past couple years, and Combine performance, it's looking like he could pop into the end of the first round, but at least has solidified himself as a second round prospect. Next, we got a 7-foot center in Nick Claxton, who ended up measuring in with a 7'3" wingspan, also recorded the highest max vertical leap of any center at 36.5 inches, and also had the highest lane agility time. In his sophomore season at Georgia, he managed to get 13 points per game, 9 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, while shooting 46% from the field, and showed his willingness to become a threat beyond the arc, taking 2 threes a game, but only shooting 28%. Right now, he's projected to be a top pick in the 2020 NBA Draft. NBA Draft.net has him going with the 19th overall selection, but decided to test the water of the 2019 NBA Draft, where he's gotten a lot of attention in the NBA Combine. He ended up blocking 7 shots in the first 10 minutes of play. In the sample size of the Combine, he wasn't very impressive on the offensive side, especially when it came to knocking in free throws, but his defensive prowess has put him on the map as a first-round prospect. It's still up in the air on whether he'll return to Georgia or keep his name in the NBA draft pool, but he's one of my favorite prospects, and I think he could be a massive steal in the mid to late first round. Next, we got Nassir Little. Little is a very interesting prospect, as he was a 6th ranked player in high school and went into this season projected to be a top 5, at the least top 10 selection in the 2019 NBA Draft, but after a very disappointing season at North Carolina and several guys rising up the draft board, he might end up falling outside the lottery. This season, Little only averaged 10 points per game while shooting 48% from the field on 18 minutes, but helped reaffirm his potential, especially on the defensive end at the Combine, measuring in at 6'6" with a 7'1" wingspan and the 2nd highest max vertical leap at 38.5 inches. While there's a lot of potential for his lack of production to continue into the NBA, his measurements and ability on the defensive end might be too hard to pass at the end of the lottery going into the mid-first round. Next, we got Jalen Lecque, the 41st ranked player in high school, but after taking a year of prep school, is signed on to play at NC State, but as a 5th-year senior, it gives him the option to test the waters of the NBA Draft, and at the NBA Combine, ended up measuring in at 6'4", and recorded the highest max vertical leap out of anyone that was tested. This, combined with measuring in with a 6'9" wingspan, has scouts excited about his potential, but it was very important for him, as he hasn't played in college, to show out in the 5-on-5 scrimmages, and he did that on Thursday, got good feedback from teams, including a reported promised that if he's available, he would be taken, so he didn't play in the second day of scrimmages. This impressive combine is going to make it a very tough decision for Jalen on whether or not to attend NC State next season. Next, we got a 6'3" point guard in Jordan Bone, who was instrumental in Tennessee's success this season as he managed to average 14 points, 6 assists while shooting 47% from the field and 36% from 3, and really did what he needed to increase his draft stock in the NBA Combine, as he recorded the second highest max vertical leap at 42.5 inches and also had the highest lane agility and shuttle run time. It's unclear where Bone's draft stock is right now, but what he did in his junior year, combined with amazing athleticism he displayed in the NBA Combine, he's doing everything he can to prove himself going into this year's draft. He is not coming in with great size, which ultimately could really hurt him, as he recorded the second lowest wingspan. But with top recruit Josiah James coming to Tennessee next season at his position, it makes a lot of sense for Bone to keep his name in the 2019 NBA draft pool. Next, we're going to look at a top prospect in Jarrett Culver. Now, he didn't do any of the combine testing, the vertical leap, or anything like that, but he still showed up for the measurements, where he actually came in bigger than expected at 6'7" with a 6'10" wingspan, which should definitely solidify his case as one of the best two-way prospects in this year's draft. We also saw Cam Reddish show up for the measurements, where just like Little, we knew he was going to come in with crazy length, but having it on paper, 6'6" with a 7'1" wingspan, makes Cam Reddish really hard to pass up on in that mid-lottery, especially considering his potential as an elite shooter. Now, we don't usually see the combine hurt as much as it can help, but there's still definitely going to be some losers. We're going to start it off with Bol Bol. Bol Bol was the 4th ranked player in high school and went into his freshman season projected to be a mid to late lottery selection. There were a lot of questions about his frame, what position he could play at the next level, and just how good he was on the offensive end. Bol Bol would instantly dismiss a lot of this concern. At the start of the year, in 9 games, would average 21 points, 10 rebounds, almost 3 blocks, while shooting 56% from the field and 52% from 3. During this time, we saw Bol Bol fly up the draft board, at one point peaking as a top 5 projected pick on both NBADraft.net and Tankathon, but midway through December, Bol Bol would suffer a foot injury that would keep him out for the remainder of this season. This caused a major hit to his draft stock, but his production was way too much to ignore and was still projected to be a late lottery selection. In the combine, Bol Bol ended up measuring at 7'2" with a 7'7" wingspan. This was no surprise, but despite being the second tallest center recorded at the combine, weighed in the lowest of all centers at 208 pounds. This is lower than several guards recorded at the combine and 20 pounds lower than his previously listed weight. Some of this can be attributed to his injury, but this is a big concern for Bol to add to his already concerning injury. Can Bol Bol hold his own at the center position at the next level? Can he go to the power forward position? Can he fill out his frame? Will this injury hinder Bol Bol's potential? There's a lot of questions to be answered for these NBA teams before taking a risk on Bol. I still feel he deserves to be a lottery selection, but we shall see. Next, we got Tyler Herro. Tyler Herro was the 30th ranked player in high school, and we saw his draft stock consistently go up throughout his freshman season at Kentucky, as he managed to get 14 points while shooting 46% from the field and 36% from 3. His potential as a versatile scorer and knockdown shooter has gained a lot of interest throughout this season, but despite measuring in taller than expected at 6'6", he only measured in with a 6'3" wingspan. This is usually a precursor of defensive struggles in the future, and we've seen it hurt players' stock in the past, such as Fee Mikhailuk last season, but good news for Herro is his defense is not what's drawing all this attention and should still manage to become a first-round selection. Next, we got Dedrick Lawson. The second-round prospect had a great season at Kansas this year, as he averaged 19 points per game, 10 rebounds, while shooting 49% from the field and 39% from 3. Despite still looking impressive from 3 at the combine, his athleticism drew a lot of concern. He ended up recording the 3rd lowest sprint, the 2nd lowest shuttle run, and the lowest vertical leap out of all power forwards, and also had the 3rd highest body fat percentage of anyone recorded at the combine. We know he has the skill set, but does he have the athleticism to keep up in the NBA? Lastly, we're going to look at 2 players that weren't necessarily losers or winners, but it was still very interesting to see their results from the combine. And we're going to start that off with Jontay Porter. The once projected lottery selection, whose value took a massive tank after a second ACL tear, showed that he's in better shape than last year, as last year it was a major concern when he recorded the highest body fat percentage in the whole entire combine, and this year it is much lower, but it's unclear how much this will affect his draft stock. We also have Brandon Clark, the defensive star of Gonzaga. He had an interesting combine as he didn't measure in with great size at 6'8" with a wingspan that matched that, but I don't think we expected much from his measurements, but definitely impressed when it came to his athleticism, recording an over 40-inch vertical, the highest among any forward, also recorded the highest lane agility and sprint of all power forwards. So despite not having great size, his production this season and impressive athleticism should still allow him to become a lottery selection in this draft. The NBA Combine is something that doesn't get much major media attention, so I decided to bring it to you guys. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and the shoutouts are gonna be Vio Thaddeus, Dean Schroeder, Aiden J, Javon Joseph, and Emmanuel Montoya. If you guys want to shout out in the next video, all you gotta do is like the video and comment liked or rep notification gang, and I'll shout 5 of you guys out. With all that being said, hope you guys have a great day, and peace.